Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
Blockbuster 007, Everything or Nothing. Rated T for Teen. EA Games. Challenge everything.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. We contacted on YouTube, maybe an email podtendo@gmail.com, or YouTube. Check us out on our YouTube channel, leave some comments, we could chat there. Otherwise, we're on some socials, but honestly, I'm not. I'm kind of removed from that scene. I'm your co-host, Mick, joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Tyson.
Nice, and we welcome you here on our Let's Play retrospective pop culture review podcast. We're going to do all those things today. Pretty exciting.
Yes, very much so. This is a highly anticipated game, I think, for most of our listeners. When they clicked onto this, they were like, finally, this game has been talked about. We've been protesting it every day, and since it hasn't been covered, so
that's we did nothing. This is basically all our correspondence is, guys, when are you playing James Bond 007 Everything or Nothing for the Game Boy Advanced?
Specifically,
I don't want to talk about the GameCube one that has like the cutscenes and the big story and the flashy and all the rendered graphics. Well, the Game Boy Advance version, because that's where the money is. Yes,
that's where the true fans. That's the hardcore game for the true fans.
Mm-hmm. Solid. So, like Tyson mentioned, elegantly off the top, we are playing James Bond 007 Everything or Nothing. It was developed by EA Redwood Studios. Sold under 1 million copy. Damn shame. Released February 17th, 2004. How long to beat has this game at 2 hours? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, alright, sure. Maybe.
If you know what you're doing, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, sure.
You could probably, I don't think it would take 2 hours. That's more of my point. I'm like, 2 hours in total. I don't know if the game was that long. $34.99 was the price at release, and if you factor in inflation, that'd be $52.62 today. And guys, that might be the last time you hear that on this podcast. I think I might be deleting that from the notes. Huh. Yeah. Well, it's always one of those things where I'm guessing. I've never concretely found out what they would cost. Lots of times I was making educated guesses. So I was like, wait, why am I including this stupid category? So I think I finally decided to remove it going forward. So it's pretty exciting. And then eBay price, $11. Good deal. Well, It's a deal. I don't know if it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's for sale.
Yep.
It's for sale.
It is for sale. And then where to play this game, obviously, original cart or an emulator.
Yep, those are the ways of doing this. I don't know why this game isn't more highly regarded and just everywhere. It's on. This should be on the Switch Online. This is how they should have dropped the Game Boy Advanced. Just been like, here's Everything or Nothing, everybody. I know, you're welcome.
Interesting, because they do have the Game Boy.
$25.
They have the Game Boy Advance section, so you probably could lobby at some point to get this on the Switch Online store. So
yeah, probably gotta pay the James Bond.
Or licensing fees to EA or something like that. Yeah, that's fair. All right. So before we get too far into this game, Tyson is just waiting to gush on, guys. I don't know. Before he recorded, I think he said Game of the Year candidate. So, it's a good one. We do have to do some housekeeping. So that means we have to jump into our patent. We have to. We have a time machine and we have to use it. So our patent.
You have one for 7 years and you're just like, it's just kind of. Man. Oh, Jesus, I guess I have to use this.
That was the biggest moment of Marty McFly's life. Getting a time machine. He went on this epic adventure, changed his life. We had one for 7 years. Now we're just whatever. Stupid damn kids. Just get...
Gotta tick the box, I guess.
Oh, I guess I'll use time travel. We're just such terrible people someday. So we're jumping into our patented Wayback Machine, which is a time machine, apparently. Traveling back to February 17th, 2004, and see what did the world look like. Started by looking at our favorite show, The Simpsons. We get Magical History Tour, Season 15, Episode 11. Marge tells the kids stories of Henry VIII, Lewis and Clark, and Mozart.
This is not a bad episode, actually.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I don't hate it. But I also have a soft spot for every time they do one of these kind of like...
little stories, yeah.
Anthologies.
I find that they're full episodes. Sometimes the stories are like unfulfilling, but lots of times when they do their like little anthology mini episodes, you can almost get like a complete story in like a 8-minute segment.
Oh, 100%.
And I just
especially since they tried to do this weird 4-act segment to squeeze in another in the like later seasons, to squeeze in one final like kind of haha joke, but just like it's just there for another commercial break.
Yeah,
it just breaks the whole thing. Early Simpsons have a good like 3-act structure. Bad Simpsons have like first act, something happens, and then second act and third act are completely unrelated to the first act.
Yeah.
And now there's a fourth act, which is sometimes completely unrelated to all the acts. And like, this is bad. I mean, you just
ain't good.
Just do your anthology thing.
Ain't good.
Dive into it.
Top TV shows. Apparently that's what I was doing. Although I might stop it at some point because it kind of just turns into the same shows all the time forever. Yeah. So anyways, this week we're doing top 5 shows. CSI Miami, Desperate Housewives, American Idol, the Wednesday version, and then followed by American Idol, the Tuesday version, and finally CSI. So do you know why I stopped doing just the top 5 TV shows after a couple episodes?
Oh, I 100% understand.
Okay. All right.
And like this is the point where it's like, oh, TV's a wasteland of all things good. Here's reality TV.
Well, it was the first. It was a big deal. It
was
one of those things where you'd see the performances, and then there was a vote, right? And you kind of had an impact on like the Wednesday show. So I understand how they're tied together, and it's like a cute idea and actually kind of ingenious, right? That they're able to do that. Nowadays, it would all just be like instant through texts and stuff like that, or like go on Twitter and like fill out these like surveys and stuff. So they could do things a little bit cleaner, but like, okay, cool. I kind of get what you're going for, TV. Most dystopian movies have this feature where you like, I don't know. Anyways, top cartoons. We have Pencilmation, Peppa Pig, Winx Club, Venture Brothers, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and The Batman all started in 2004.
Okay. I do love me some Venture Brothers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool. Top movies. So this week you can see 50 First Dates. Still in theaters, you could watch Miracle, Barbershop 2, The Butterfly Effect, and Along Came Polly. And you're like, okay, cool. I don't want to watch a dating movie that involves Adam Sandler or Ben Stiller. You could wait a week and you could see Passion of the Christ, Hidalgo, Starsky and Hutch, and Dawn of the Dead. Whew. Man, Ben Stiller's really doing some flexing right now, eh? Like,
right? He's dropping it. And I do love me some Starsky and Hutch. That's a guilty pleasure movie.
We watched Zoolander last night. It holds up. Tamara was like crying, laughing a couple times because she's like, "This movie's so fucking funny," and I was like, "Yeah, it's great. It's genius." So yeah. I was like, I want to see more of this Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller together. If only there was other media where they appeared together. They're in every movie together. It's great.
Yeah, it's true. And like everything they touch is good at this point.
Yeah. So no, very, very solid. And then top video games so released this month. So February of 2004, we saw Killzone, Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, Minish Cap, Halo 2, Jax 3, Metroid Prime 2, Echoes, Need for Speed, Underground 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, Super Mario 64 DS, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
This is... I've been diving into some old PS2 classics, and let me tell you, Killzone maybe doesn't hold up, but I wish it did. And Ratchet and Clank's fun. But who doesn't love Halo 2? I mean, to be honest, I saw that on this list, and I'm like, I'm tempted to go back just so I can relive the glory that was Halo 2 online and Halo 3 online.
Just all these games, like, to have just like some disposable income at this point in your life, be able to go back and just clean up on all these games, you'd be having a really, really solid weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Metroid Prime 2.
I guess I have to put down Metroid Prime 2 and go downstairs and play Metal Gear Solid, and then I'll go play Killzone, and while I'm pooping, I'll play Minish Cap on my Game Boy.
Yeah, and I guess later tonight should just chill with some Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, or like if I'm feeling amped and have some friends over, let's play some Need for Speed Underground 2. It's like, this is madness how good these games are. I wish we had game releases like this.
Even just half. give me half those games in a month, and you'd be like, solid, that are going to hold up the test time, versus now games that come out, and I'm like, no one will literally ever talk about Stray ever again. So,
well, Barren Wasteland until a game drops, then Barren Wasteland until a game drops, and heaven forbid one of them's disappointing, because then you're like, well, guess I'm just going to go half a year with stuff I don't care about.
Exactly. So, are we going to go back there? Tyson might go for Halo 2. I'm going to say no. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
The TV, like, we are on bad Simpsons time, so TV sucks. Cartoons are meh. Movies are meh. It's like, well, right. if you don't like these old retro video games, which you can play them now, so
that's kind of where I'm going. Okay, all right, cool. So that was our time travel. Yay! On to the development details of this fun game. So now we know what the pop cultural landscape looks like. That's why we talk about development details. See, you forgot to say that part, Mick, and then you sound stupid. So development began in 2001. Took 4 years to develop this game. All right. They used the Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed engine for the driving segments. Okay. They changed the game for a third-person shooter back to first-person perspective later in development because they wanted you to be Bond, not watch him. Oh, I see. These are development details for the GameCube release. Okay. Because there are no development details on this Game Boy Advance version. The game features a voice cast of notable actors reprising the roles from the film. The cast includes Pierce Brosnan as James Bond, Judi Dench as M, John Cleese as Q, William Dafoe as Nikolai Diavlov, Heidi Klum, Shannon Elizabeth, and the actors are also provided their likeness for the games, including Richard Kiel, reprising his role as Jaws. Everything or Nothing was published by EA and for the Game Boy Advance. In North America, it was released November 17th, 2003, several months before the home console version. Son of a bitch. Huh. All right, well, apparently we're actually in November 2003, not 2004. Oh, well.
Meh, whatever. It's close enough. It's, this game, I can see why, like, the actual GameCube game kind of took like a longer period of time. But this handheld game, there's like what, 6 levels?
8. Oh. Well, the first 2, 6 levels. The first 2 I wouldn't even count them as levels. They're a screen. You walk across the screen, you walk out, and you're like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the best in the world.
I am the best. Thank goodness James Bond is here to save the day, and I am him.
Oh, so. Boy. Oh, baby. All right. So, again, big, I guess at this point, we just talk about we're playing the Game Boy Advanced version, not the GameCube version. Why? Availability. Really, for an $11 video game that we could both pick up and play, it's just pretty solid, right? Not bad. And I figure we give this a shot. I don't know if I'd come back to the other one. Although, for some reason, I was like, I just don't want to get into, like, the next-gen James Bond games yet. Perfect Dark. It's kind of just like a James Bond clone, and I've never played that. So, like, maybe next year we play Perfect Dark.
Well, I think that's kind of why we didn't jump into the 3D James Bond, because we're like, we still have, like, some cleanup to do. Like, okay. And yes, Perfect Dark is that cleanup. So we should definitely kind of do that. Especially since it kind of gets crazy with aliens near the second half of that game.
I never played it. I have no idea. So I'd go in and be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Let's figure which one has the best controls, because I ain't playing no janky controls. It's and for this game, I mean, speaking of janky controls, the isometric, it's a semi 3D isometric level, and that just sometimes, let's say, doesn't work well.
Yeah. So the game is based on it. It almost feels like, I don't know if I wrote this down, but it kind of has a, like, remember Fallout or Fallout 2 on the PC? Did you ever play either of those?
Yes.
Where you're kind of, the grid is lined so that it's, how do you say this? So it's a square-based grid, but it's oriented more like a diamond. So the corners are the north and south rather than having, like, the flat surfaces. But your controllers want you to move normally. Like, you can only move on the grid, but because you have a D-pad, you kind of end up having to, like, awkwardly hold up and left to, like, kind of run up, left. And it's just not very fluid. So, yeah, it's kind of awkward. So that was part of the controls of this game. A and B act as kind of, or A fires your weapon, B is kind of acts as your action button, R crouches, L lets you switch through gadgets, and you have gadgets from mines to grenades to medkits to hollow bonds. Pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little bit ambitious, but it's this game, like such limiting controls, and I guess the issue kind of thing is with the isometric thing is doing this works probably fine with like an action game or whatever, but when you're trying to do stealth as well,
Yes.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness,
Oh, the stuff.
rough.
Oh, yeah. Like that's the thing is they didn't really appreciate the medium they were in, right? It did though. It did make me think. Could you do? They should have done what they should have done is they should have went and found Fallout or Fallout 2 and put them on the Game Boy Advanced, because that's literally what this game reminds me of, right? Like you would have had almost a pretty solid, or even like the DS or something, right? I don't know why those old kind of PC games didn't ever make the jump into handheld markets, right? Because I definitely feel like that would have been, people probably would have bought them and then wanted to explore older PC games and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah, makes sense. But no, we got to make a cash grab tie-in, and we're gonna do it in a very strange way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played quite a few Game Boy Advance games, and I know many of them. They're like, let's be ambitious and go isometric 3D.
yeah, no, probably not the best choice. I don't know what would be the best choice with this medium. Probably, I guess you just don't do the reorient the screen so the grid is up and down.
I don't know. I think James Bond Jr. the one game we played on or James Bond and on the handheld that did it interestingly. Like, doesn't necessarily like you get the idea of a top down.
Oh yeah. You mean like the original Game Boy?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like,
So I
just
think
do that with like slightly better graphics.
Yeah, that's part of why we wanted to play this game, because when I was looking, this game comes as a pretty highly rated game, right? Like it's getting 8s to 9s out of 10s through most reviews. It was cheap, it was affordable. We had such a good experience with the first handheld. I was like, maybe we give this one a shot. So this is kind of our failed attempt at trying. So it's not completely failed, but it's
no. And I think for what it is, like I said, this is an ambitious Game Boy Advance game. Like most Game Boy Advance games are kind of like cheap, crappy side scrollers, which is why we don't really cover a lot of them. But this game is trying to do something interesting, and it was fairly well received at the time. I think, it's not a perfect game, and it's definitely flawed. But if you were a kid back in the day, this would probably be quite amazing to you. I don't see why you'd be unplayable in some aspects, because I mean, it's hard to tell what the hell's going on good resolution.
True. Yeah. Using my backlit, having like an old Game Boy Advance with the backlit, I could see struggling with this game versus I have it on my DS Lite, which has the Game Boy Advance adapter. So at least then I can play with like the backlit abilities, right? How about first memories of this game? So I don't know about you. First time I've heard about this game, played this game, experienced anyone talking about it. So I found it last year on a list, purchased a copy. So we had to play it. Cool.
Yep. I knew of it because I know more of the like James Bond games, like the actual console version. I tend to avoid the handheld. So first memory was you mentioning it, me and be like, oh yeah, I guess there is a handheld version. Sure, let's give it a shot.
Solid. Cool. All right. So that, I guess we're into story level notes, which is really short. This might be a fast episode, guys. Even though we were taking our sweet ass time at the beginning, it's like 20 minutes we haven't talked about it. It might be another 20 minutes and we're done. So that's okay. I'm okay with fine short shows. Story. So the game opens in the Parim Mountains in Takistan, 2004, where MI6 agent James 007 Bond, that's not his nickname, infiltrates a stronghold where an organization sells a stolen Soviet suitcase bomb. Bond triggers a firefight between the two factions, making the exchange, using the confusion to steal the device and escape. Wow.
I made it way more interesting than it seemed.
I think I might have just copied that from good old Wikipedia. Baby.
Nice. I love me a little copy.
Oh, that is definitely just the first level. Okay, cool. So I guess with the story, we go into level notes. Menu. Pretty basic. There is apparently blackjack available if you get 2,500 style points. I finished the game with 1,400, so missed it.
Yeah, some of the side missions to get all those extra points are stupid and bad, and I hate them. So
yeah, cool.
I didn't do them.
Yeah, me either. So mission 1 is the Sahara Desert. Very basic intro level. You find a suitcase, and you shoot your way out. And this game, there's a red dot you have to get to, which kind of saves the game and ends the level. Lots of times, my advice for you is just run.
For that dot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of does a interesting thing where you do repel. I think you repel in the first mission.
Yes, you definitely repel.
And it tries to do this isometric thing in a different way, so you're not just always running around. And I appreciate that they're trying to mix it up. And that's even in the first level, because like this will come up in some more frustrating levels in this game.
Just always run. Just always run down. Don't shoot. Just run. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn that quick. Like, when you're just repelling, just go. Just don't stop.
All right. So then mission 2 is the Cairo Casino. So here you walk into a casino, and then you walk out. I think they want you to sneak past some guards, but you can just like walk up behind them and like choke them to death if you can figure that out. And like once you kill the 2 guards, you just walk in and walk out. So.
Yeah. Introduction to the stealth mechanic of sneaking up behind people. It's difficult to do in this beginning because you have to kind of crouch, and it's not people's. One thing that, like, let's say Metal Gear Solid does really well is it has that nice cone of vision that you can see, so you can kind of like
gauge,
position yourself. This mini map is basically useless, and sometimes you'll be, let's say, near the side of a screen, and then all of a sudden an enemy from the top or somewhere that you can't see has spotted you, and then they just chase you down and start shooting you, and you're like, but I didn't know you were there. You're not really on my mini map, and it's hard to tell where everything's located. It's frustrating.
They definitely have display issues, so just because the icons, or I guess all the sprites, are a little bit too big for the screen, this can't provide the information. And yeah, like you alluded to, we knew what stealth games had. They had cones of vision. Why didn't you put that in this game? Oh, those little tiny arrows? Those white arrows on that white screen? That's the guys?
Yeah. But it's like, it just shows me where they're facing, doesn't show me how far they can see.
Or what? Yeah, exactly.
And they try to do this like weird little mechanic where it'll like shoot up, like it's like a little bar, and the more it like lights up, the more they can see you. But at the same time, it's like it essentially can go from 0 to like there's no time to react. It's essentially useless. Like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They like draw attention to it, and I never looked at it ever again.
Great.
So.
Perfect. So then mission 3 out of 8, we're flying along, guys. We're in the Cairo train yard. So here you move around a train yard trying to stealth kill guards, to collect samples on a train, and at the end you have to fight a boss, Jaws.
Yeah, first boss battle. I was happy to see it. I was like, hey, we're going to get some boss battles in this game.
Yep.
Hopefully we can see some other people, and they appear, and it's going to be like a boss battle every like main game or main level.
It would be like almost a challenging boss battle too at first, until you figured out the mechanic, and then it was easy as balls. But
yeah,
so
just kind of
he's
draw
invincible.
out his.
So Jaws is invincible. He stands in the corner of the screen, and he'll throw barrels at you. And then guards come in, and you run around and you shoot the guards. But what you really want to do is lure Jaws towards a barrel and then shoot the barrel. And it takes like a third of his health. So do that 3 times, you win.
Yeah. And he moves pretty slow. It can kind of get overwhelming if there's like lots of people, but you just use your meta packs or your medi packs or whatever.
Yeah, when you run low, run around and shoot the guards, they drop a bunch. They give you ammo.
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty forgiving that way.
From here, though, we head to the Peruvian jungle for some reason. So you fight through hordes of guards while making your way through the jungle. There are some satellite dishes to destroy. I think I got one of them. And then due to the uneven terrain, sneaking up on guards here isn't that easy. Great.
Oh, yes. And we didn't mention it, but there's always like a main objective, and there's like some sub-objectives. And usually the sub-objectives are like stealth kill people. Stealth kill 6 guards. There's so many guards in these levels, but trying to find one of them that is like remotely sometimes you'll find 2, but then it's like, okay, hopefully I can find like another 4 people to do this to, and because people just like whip around so fast, like it's impossible to kill them.
Yeah, and they don't have pause, and then there's certain guards they have that end up like in a security position. So they'll have a back against the wall, and they'll look to the right, look forward, look right, look forward, look right, and they go in these like kind of very fast patterns. And I'm like, how am I supposed to sneak into this guy and kill him?
Oh, it's silly. Like, the guards move way too fast.
Yeah.
Like, in Metal Gear Solid, like, and I hate to keep going back
that's
to that.
A stealth game. That's a stealth game that works. That was made 6 years before this on a superior piece of hardware.
Yeah, and it's like, they just got it. Like, stealth works with enemies who move slowly. They can't just be, like, cracked out and just being, like, twitch. And, like, every twitch is a new movement turn. And you're like, I can't sprint in this game. It's like, how am I supposed to, like, sneak up behind that guy and kill him or shoot him? Or I can't aim.
Yeah, exactly. Or give me something. Give Bond, like, you hit select, and all of a sudden he goes stealth, and you have, like, 10 seconds of stealth where he's invisible, and then maybe the guards will leave the area, right? Cool. Awesome. That's a fun mechanic, and maybe there's some timing involved, or there's some new... But no, they're just like, you'll figure it out. You're smart kids. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Don't talk that. Don't condescend to me. All right.
No, exactly. And
but you want to talk about a lot of stealth. Oh boy, let's go to Mission 5, New Orleans. You have to sneak around some guards, and if too many spot you, you fail. Well, at least your style points, right? So that's what the other objectives are for the style points, right? So, you got caught by too many guards. We'll fail this. There are some... Oh, wait, no. We have to infiltrate a lair, turn on some elevators before learning something about nanotech armor that guards now wear. Cool. So we're in a graveyard, and we're running around, and at some point you walk up, and some guy comes out of this, like, underground lair, and we're like, oh, follow that guy, but don't get caught, because if you get caught, they shut the door. So what I did was I just kind of, like, ran to the red dot to the door, and even though I got caught by him, I got to the red door and it started to save. So I failed the mission. I definitely didn't pass this level, but I just, like, brute forced my way into this checkpoint, and then I just waited for it to be, like, saving. And it was like, it got caught in this thing where it was like saving, but it knew I had failed, so it wanted to fail the mission. And I just waited for it to go saving complete. And then I turned the game off, turned it back on. And I was off to the next part of the level.
Which is a great, that's how you make good game design.
Yeah.
Is that you can just break the game. I didn't run into that. But I love that this game was just a glitchy mess. Mm-hmm. And you could just abuse that to proceed.
Yeah, no, it's it's good.
And to be honest, these are some of the worst levels of this game. The New Orleans level's bad. I can't. It's impossible to sneak up on people. Like, if they, like, say get 6, and you're like, or don't get spotted 6 times. The first 6 people are going to spot you.
Yes,
it's impossible.
Yeah, unless for some reason you have a map and you know which way to go that has, like, no guards. But now I have to buy a walkthrough to do this. Or I guess you play the game a lot, right? That's the other thing. Back in the day, at some point, like, you got this game and that's the only game you had for 2 months on your Game Boy. And you would just, like, play it a bunch. Versus playing it for 2 hours for a podcast. You don't get those experiences, right? So, yeah. Are they bullshit game design things that make a cheap game give it value? 100%. Do we hate that? Yes.
Yes, yeah. Yes. We have also mentioned there's I think a car driving sequence at some point.
Yeah, I didn't write those down. I know I wrote it down at the big end because that was a sequence. But yeah, sometimes you have to play a little game of, like, awkward car chase where you just shoot things.
Yeah, and has the most irritating missile lock-on thing, which just, again, doesn't have, like, a missile that is in front of you. No, this missile pans in a, like, arc, and it goes back and forth really quickly because don't you need to manage while you're driving in a shitty isometric car driving simulator? Is the arc of a spazzy missile.
And it is one of those, like, it is frustrating too. So as the car driving sequence happens, certain cars, they'll have machine guns if they're behind you, oil slicks if they're in front of you, and then there's one car, this fucking yellow guy, that just drops mines constantly. So now I'm like, well, now I just get hit by mines and, like, lose 2 health bars.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great.
Frustrating.
As long as we don't have to fight a boss in the car, we're fine. So after Mission 6, we're on to the Peruvian facility. You have to explore the factory, shut off some gas, meet some blonde lady, and then chase her out of the facility. Cool.
Yeah. Kind of interesting, different, like, little area. There's always a facility level or, like, feels like a compound in a James Bond game.
Welcome to my secret underground lair.
Yes. And there's even pipes that you have to shut off gas. So I feel like that just is ticking more of the cliched stuff. But I'm happy and I'm digging it.
Cool.
So.
Mission 7 is the Peruvian ruins. So you have to do some rappelling sections, run through a factory to find an elevator while avoiding killing the guards who shoot you with control reversing bullets. Oh, that's right, because now they're all scientists. But the scientists hit you with this like poison that makes you go the other way, and if you kill the scientists, you die.
Yes, this level sucks.
So once you find the scientist in the basement, you have to then escort him so he can get his research before you can leave. But don't kill anyone. You can only kill guards. If you kill a scientist, you fail.
Yeah, and don't lose track of him, because then you might get lost and wander around for like 15, 20 minutes and be like, how am I lost in this tiny game?
So the game was not, this is a kind of a frustrating level design. It seems very uneven.
Oof.
Are they short?
Like,
Are they long?
No, this last thing needed was an escort mission. Just like we've been complaining about the controls and how it's frustrating. It's like, you know what you need in all this frustration? An escort mission.
Well, and you know what people loved about GoldenEye 2? Not killing the scientists. People love that. So why don't we make some of the guards or some of the enemies scientists that you can't kill?
And they're gonna be like hound you like dogs.
And they're not just gonna
follow you through multiple areas.
But don't kill them. Okay.
Don't you dare.
Okay, all right. And then finally, mission 8. We're in Moscow, so we have to stop a tank in a driving sequence, run around a big circle while avoiding guards, fight Jaws for a second time, and knock him into some TVs before we finally get to the boss of this game, Dyatlov. You have to take out like 3 or 4 kind of hordes of his men, and then this big cone starts glowing, and you shoot it, and it attacks him, and he dies.
Yeah, kind of a easy. Well, Willem Dafoe goes down pretty easy in this one. The Jaws fight, oh my god, trying to shoot him without reloading.
Yeah, so let's break down. No. So you went the wrong way. So let's start at the top. Moscow mission. So we're in a car driving sequence, which is terrible, and now we have to fight a big tank.
Yeah.
Okay. I found the only way I had success was I killed some cars, got some rockets, and then would literally drive beside the tank and just pummel him with rockets before kind of backing off and then like waiting for more rockets, essentially.
Yeah, you have to. This game really punishes you if you try to speed through it. So just kind of take your time, and then as soon as you kind of load up, find the cheapest way you can just unload all your missiles into him, because that stupid arcing trajectory thing. If you could just aim it straight, it'd be so much easier. But you can't, so just
it's not.
Just go slow. Take your time.
Right.
It's not super frustrating once you kind of get the hang of it. It just seems to take forever.
Yeah. So then the little bit of the level section, I don't remember it being too tough, and the Jaws fight is difficult. So there are 3 or 4 television screens. At first you have to shoot, so there's like electricity coming out of them, and then you have to get Jaws between the screen and you and pump him full of bullets so that he hits the TV. Like you shoot him into the TV and then he dies after 4 of the televisions. So is it frustrating? Yeah. Is it awkward? Oh, you better believe it's awkward.
Yeah, it's like you gotta position yourself in this isometric world between you and Jaws and these TVs, or like opposite sides, and like unload the entire clip, and heaven forbid you miss a shot and he just doesn't do it, and then you got to do the whole thing over again.
There is infinite ammo, so if you run down to the basement or into like the bottom of the screen, you can just kind of keep collecting ammo. I would recommend always have full ammo before you make any attempt. As soon as you miss a bullet, like stop, run and get more bullets, retry a different screen, right? Try and get that perfect setup. It only took me about 6 attempts to hit all 4 of them, right? So it was just kind of figuring out that positioning, and then just kind of making sure that I like was hammering Jaws. So
yeah, just clunky. I like the ambition, but it's a very clunky boss.
Ambition sometimes is not great. A world without ambition is not awesome, but sometimes ambition does fall flat, and so Tyson is crediting him for that. And then finally, Dyatlov. Sure, I was like, this is gonna be tough. Outside of the toxic gas, like reverse controls, I don't know if this boss was difficult at all. You just like kill 3 guys, and then you shoot one of the towers, and then he goes down. So
yeah, and it's like you just have to shoot the tower once it starts glowing. You just shoot it, and it auto finds him and does like a chunk of his health,
like a quarter. Yeah. So then there we go. And then we die. And then in the ending, some girl comes into the room and asks if she can help us. Bond says there's a thing or 2 things she can offer him. The end. There we go. Cool. So then we beat the game. Current thoughts. have any current thoughts?
Me? I was gonna let you go.
Oh, okay.
But
cool. I got this. Okay, so not the worst game we've ever played on this podcast. The overall game was a little bit short, and they were a bit too ambitious. Oh, look at that. For this game, and it felt like they asked you to do too much at times, right? The limited field of vision, awkwardly trying to move Bond around the screen, and limited buttons just didn't really help the overall flow of this game, right? Like, the hardware, again, this is Game Boy Advance. So we have an A, B, start, select, left, right. That's it for inputs, right? So you're really limited. You're being ambitious. God bless your hearts for making something that works, right? That is competent, that is a start to finish experience that I could beat without having to like rely on cheats or just watch a walk play, and you didn't make an impossible broken mess. So awesome, cool. You were very limited in what you did, and I can't imagine the whole team that worked on the original game worked on this game. Like, I'm sure the interns or something kind of pumped this out. So I did watch a Let's Play review of the GameCube version. It seemed different. No, I didn't. That's a lie.
Oh.
Huh.
Well,
current thoughts for you?
Yeah, kind of same sentiments. It's ambitious. I think for what it is, like a Game Boy Advance game. I don't know many other Game Boy Advance games that are trying to do this isometric, like adventure shooter stealth based game with car segments. Like, it's doing a lot of things. I feel like the people who made this game obviously were fans of James Bond, because they tried to do it justice. I think that the probably just one of those examples of just do less.
Yes.
This hardware is way too limited. But it's, if I was a kid and I got this as like the Game Boy Advance was one of my consoles of choice. We're spoiled now because, like, I mean, a Switch is a handheld console. But it is what it is. I think it's not bad. It's not the worst thing I've ever played, but it's also not the best thing I've ever played. Would I recommend it to anyone? Nah, not really. But at the same time, like, did I have a horrible time playing it? No, it was fine. A little bit frustrated, but I mean, there's good games that I like that are more frustrating than this game. So
and well said. Yeah, exactly. They're trying to do a little bit too much with too little, and it kind of shows. But like, I don't know. If I was a kid and back in the day I would have got this, I probably would have had fun. You know, I probably would have played this with a friend or you or something like that, and would have been like, yeah, cool, great. That was kind of fun. And like, kill a week or two, maybe. Right? You play a little level at a time. You're like, oh, I got past that level. Oh, cool. We should try for all the points, and let's play blackjack. And then you just have blackjack on your Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, really teach kids how to count cards early.
And like, if I was a parent and I caught my kids playing blackjack, I just like make sure they're doing the right strategies. Because like, you should gamble, just do it right. Don't be bad at gambling.
Yeah, you don't want to lose money that you like while you're gambling, especially blackjack. That's a beatable game here. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly. So it would be a learning opportunity. So cool. So then what would I change? I would make this game a bit longer, include less cards per level. Man, I'm smart. It was a bit too much for the small screen and limited controls. Cool. Yourself?
I would ditch the isometric thing, and I would try to just do like a top-down version.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I would do.
Okay, cool.
So.
And then, are you buying it? Can you believe that Edge Magazine gave the platform release of this game a 5 out of 10? Was Edge Magazine famous for being edgy?
Maybe, but they also might be the most accurate review because this game is kind of just like an average 5. Like
the platform release.
I think they're shitting on a game that was fine for its time.
Well, everything else though was like an 8 or 9, maybe a 7, and then a 5, and I was like, that seems really low, right? Really low.
Yeah, like unless like the camera control, like unless it's like there's an actual busted part of it, I don't see why it would be rated so low. Considering the other games are decent. Like, I know Nightfire is pretty well regarded. I don't think that this game is that bad on the consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to dive into it, see what these edgy guys who are just, maybe trying to make a mark for themselves.
Yeah, that could be it. Cool. And then that's it. That ends our review, guys. Fast one to start the year. We both had like time over the break. I don't know why we just didn't get more into video games. So I'm glad we had our Skyfall Everything or Nothing just for January, because we do have a lot of video games actually coming up for you guys this year, which are pretty exciting about. So good start to the year at least. And It was worth a shot. Maybe the game was good. I would say the game was good, actually. No, you know what? This game was actually good. It was fine. Wouldn't recommend it, but it was...
for a Game Boy Advance game?
Yeah, it was good.
100%.
It didn't...
I'm playing this over bloody, whatchamacallit?
Golden
Sun.
Yeah. But it's one of those, like... Oh, it's a top-notch experience. Like, at least what I was expecting. It didn't exceed my expectations, which is totally fine, right? So that's a good way to start the year. And I think it's just going to get better from here. So pretty excited. Pretty excited about all the video games we're playing this year. Like, every time I think about the next game we get to play, I'm like, oh, I'm excited to play that one too. So I'm glad we went ahead and just, like, threw a bunch of good stuff on our schedule. This might be the low point of the year, which is a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent. It's a good game. I mean, for a Game Boy Advance game, like, this is solid. Mm-hmm. And I think, it's only looking up from here, and that's saying something, because this game isn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. So, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
Solid. So then that's all we have left is a cultural significance, and we're getting out of here. So, this game didn't give too much, but I like old gimmicks. So, Tyson, welcome to the Everything or Nothing Vacation Getaway Game Boy Advanced version. Ooh, babies. Just like last time, I'm going to lay out what it would look like if you won some type of grand prize or some lottery and you wanted to go on to the Everything or Nothing vacation. So I'm going to take some scenes and I'm going to try and recreate the events of this game/movie. Are you ready for your big adventure?
I am ready.
Cool, yo. So the first thing you got to do, you got to get to the Sahara Desert. That's where the game starts. So a trip to the Sahara Desert. So from a place in Edmonton or Calgary to Casablanca, which is in Morocco, would be about $1,116 round trip. It's not bad.
Okay. That's not terrible.
Right? Okay, that gets you there. And I was like, oh, hey, Morocco. Our mom's going there, actually, in like 4 days. So, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neat. So you could fly with her. Flights from Casablanca to Cairo are going to be about $536.
That's not terrible. Like, that's reasonable. I mean, you get to see some pyramids.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to go to a casino. So a night at a casino, room's only going to cost you $151. Very affordable. But it's all expense paid. You're in a casino. You got to play some money. So let's give you $3,000 for the night, right? That's even throwing some gambling money out there, right? You can lose a lot of cash there at that casino. So,
or you can make some.
It could be a profit. It could be you might be making money on this trip. So again, we're gonna put this at $3,000 for an all expense. But like, you're having a nice dinner, you're having nice drinks, some nice girls talking to you all night, and you're gonna lose some money gambling. $3,000 sounds all right. Visiting a train yard, it's actually priceless. You can go look at trains anytime you want.
Yeah, just don't go on the tracks, kids. Just watch from a distance. James Bond walks on the tracks, so don't do what he does.
Yes, there you go. Look at that safety advice. So then we have to go from Cairo all the way to Peru. That's going to be a $1,600 flight.
Okay, but you're flying across an entire ocean because Peru's not right next to Cairo, so it's worth it. That's an investment.
That's good value right there. Now, I had to do a little bit of like finagling here. So rather, it's like you go to Peru, then you go to New Orleans, then you go back to Peru, and then you fly again. You know what sucks? Flying. Who wants to do it on a vacation? Like, if I tell you you're on a vacation, like, oh, you get to go to New Orleans for a night, and you're on a plane for like 6 hours, and then you gotta like get on a plane the next day and travel back. You'd be like, really? I'm spending, plus I gotta go through security, so that's like 2-3 hours, and then there's like travel, so I'm spending 9-10 hours a day traveling. No, we're just gonna go to Peru, stay there, go to New Orleans, and then go into our next location. We good with that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so a 10-day Machu Picchu tour in Peru would cost you $4,545.
Oof, that's a lot of money. And you got to take those pills so you don't get altitude sickness.
But I figured Machu Picchu's good because you get some ruins. There's probably a jungle, right? Those are the things we have to hit. And then we also need a facility. And I like...
If there's a tomb, you're raiding it.
Yeah, and I like to think that, like, if evil villains did exist, they would build cool lairs that everyone knows about, right? And like, that's part of the allure of your secret lair is like people visit, right? So the pyramids, probably someone has like that as a base, and like Machu Picchu, there's probably some ruins that like an evil guy lives, like that big sphere in Vegas. Some supervillain is definitely someone's home, right?
Yeah. I know they say Elon Musk doesn't have a house, but I just like to think that he built an Elon Musk or a Dr. Evil style like face on the back of Machu Picchu or somewhere.
Or maybe like the tower in Seattle or something. He's got a little thing there and he overlooks the city and he's like...
Exactly.
Wait, is Elon Musk from Seattle?
I don't know.
I think he's... Maybe it's Bezos. Like, SpaceX is definitely his evil base. Like, he has, like, evil rockets going off and just, like, henchmen walking around arbitrarily turning knobs.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, if there's a secret base, it's probably in Machu Picchu in Peru. That's the point. Okay. But now we have to go from Peru to New Orleans. It's going to be an $803 flight. 2 times, though. Because we're actually going to pay for your trip back to Peru. We're just not going to make you endure it. So it's actually going to be $1,600 or $1,606.
To save being stuck on a plane or a sardine can flying across, only to fly back, I'll double the cost to save myself the hassle.
But we still have to include the cost. That's only fair, right? Graveyards, also checked it, free. You can go wherever you want. Just don't dance on the grave, unless it's your like mother-in-law.
Yes, I've heard that that's acceptable in most cultures.
So, or maybe a witch, potentially, which, again, mother-in-law might be in the same category. And seems affordable.
That's not bad. You know, it's...
Oh, okay, so we're sorry, graveyard. Yeah, that's okay. And then New Orleans to Moscow, $674. That seems very affordable.
What a deal.
Now, is it just because, like, no one else is traveling there?
Yes.
Probably, right?
Probably. Yeah. There's also currently a risk of... being arrested coming from the United States to Moscow at the current...
Yeah, that's what I was like, I kind of always wanted to see Russia. I think it'd be kind of neat, but like, I'm definitely going to jail because I'm too generic looking. They're like, nope, you're up to something. No one is that plain looking.
NPC over here, everybody.
Oh,
it's like...
Honestly, the amount of times I get frisked in security... When I did some traveling last year, I went through the security in North America 3 or 4 times. Guess how many times my dick was touched by security guards?
Like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it was to the point where like my wife was just laughing. She could and like I'd be over and like some guy would be touching me, and she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't know. The scanner didn't like me." And she's like, she figures it's because I'm so plain looking that the machine's like, "Nope, no one is that plain looking."
Yeah, no, that's fair. I wear a hoodie and toques everywhere I go, so I'm definitely getting stopped by security every time I go past. Or they're like, "Sir, you need to go into the special line, and we're going to put you in the machine that swirls." It's like, okay.
Oh, I go through that machine.
Why is nobody else going in through this machine?
Oh, it's that machine that doesn't like me.
Oh.
When I went through the first time, like, the guy was like, you could see his face. He was just like, okay, we're going to try one more time. Okay, one more time. And the second time, he's like, can you, like, pull your pants up a little bit and just kind of make sure everything's, like, just, like, pull your pants up as high as they kind of go? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, fuck. And you could see just some frustrated. And he comes out and he shows me the little screen that shows my body. And there's just this big orange bar over my dick. And he's like, so the machine doesn't know what's going on there. So we now have to manually frisk you.
And
he's
Hooray.
Like, do you want to go in a private room? And I'm like, nah, you can just do it here. He got up in my business. And I was like, what's up? That's all me.
It's like, feel around, bud.
Yeah, big bar. It's not lying. So that's, anyways. That's so I'm not going to Russia. Is the point of the story. And then I don't know what Bond does in any area. It's true. He just kind of runs around. So how about you get to drive around in an Aston Martin for a day? That'll be $1,173.
That's a bargain.
I guess.
What's the cost of renting a Ferrari in Vegas? I know you can do that. $400 or $500.
Yep.
So maybe this isn't such a bargain, but I mean, I love me an Aston Martin.
Oh
so.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, and like,
and this one comes with an oil slick thing, and at some point you probably have to like get into a shootout with a tank.
Solid. That's a solid little day. But we add up all those totals. That is your grand prize. You end up with $13,491 for this vacation. To compare to
that's not terrible. If food is all, if
that's
food's
just
included.
Travel.
Oof.
Yeah.
This can be pricey.
Yeah, but the world is not enough had a total of 11,806. So,
did we have gambling in the world's not enough?
No, but you went on like skiing, and you went on the submarine ride.
That's true. I did have a lot more fun. This one is just kind of going around and I guess drinking in different locations and gambling at some. And then for some reason you end up in Russia.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I think the world's not enough might have a better trip out of this one.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Cool. So that wraps up this game. Yeah, about 50 minutes here. So there we go. It's not bad. Not bad for a little handheld fun experience. Did we miss anything?
I think we said James Bond a bunch. I think, and just going back to our little trip, I think the first half of that trip is very strong, and then once we kind of get to Machu Picchu and then bouncing back and forth between New Orleans, kind of becomes less interesting. So, I just think it's that second leg of the tour that really lets it down. But you know what? It's minus the second leg of this tour. It's been a fun time. It's been a fun game. I had fun with it. It's a little easy handheld experience, and I mean for $11, if you have an old console, I've spent more money on a pizza. Just buy it, throw it in the collection if you're a James Bond fan. It's nice to have. So it's fun. It's ambitious. Gotta love a game that tries to be ambitious. Maybe it fails, and it could have done something simple. But then it could have been maybe super boring. So
it's harmless. It's fine. It's the same as mobile gaming nowadays. It's kind of a cheaper effort. But I maybe think a little bit more effort actually went into this game than some mobile games I'm sure that exist, right? There are mechanics. There's an end. There's a story. They were trying to do something neat. I'm not gonna blame them. Did I think this was gonna be the greatest game ever? No, I figured we'd play it for 10 minutes and be like, this game's fucking terrible, and then make a podcast about it. So the fact we both beat it and we're like, not bad. It exceeded my expectations.
Definitely. Yep. So it's all in all, it's decent.
Awesome. Sweet. So that's I think we're good. I think we're done. So we'll say bye. See you guys in 2 weeks. We got a big game coming in 2 weeks. So stay tuned in. That's all. That's the hint I'll give you. Okay, bye.
Yep. Bye.